Hello, friends, and welcome. This is episode 9 of Journey into Fandom, a podcast where I have guests on to discuss what fandoms and communities they're a part of, what their experience has been, what the memes are, and how toxic or wholesome it is. I'm your host, Karis Lunn, and today on the show we had Andy Bru on to talk about one of my favourite topics to talk about, Kingdom Hearts. And he spoke about how becoming a Kingdom Hearts creator changed his perspective on the fandom, what Sora being in Smash means to him, and his personal takes on the fandom drama. Now, without any further ado, please join me on this journey into fandom. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Journey into Fandom. Today on the show, we have my friend Andy Bru. Hello!
Hey, what's going on?
How are you?
I am chilling.
Not a whole lot. Excellent. So, this is going to be a fun episode because it could go many ways, I feel like.
Oh, yeah. I'm ready.
There's a lot to talk about.
So much to talk about. There's always something.
There's always something. And I feel like we're both talkers, so this could go
Yes.
a while.
The last podcast we did, it was a blast, but we are definitely both talkers for sure. So
Yeah.
should be fun. I'm excited.
Be.
Hey, I ain't complaining.
Absolutely. And also, if you have not listened to that episode of my other show, which is called Kingdom Minds, you should. I think from the time of this recording, it is the last episode that is up there. I have another one that I need to edit, and have I done it? No. We'll get there.
Classic.
Kingdom Minds will keep it shafted a little bit, but it's fine. We'll come back around. It'll be fine. So anyways, we're going to talk a little bit about Kingdom Hearts today.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, yeah. One of my favorite things to talk about.
Of course.
Yeah, because we have a whole other podcast dedicated to this topic. But so I've realized that I'm like, I did already ask you on that episode to like tell your Kingdom Hearts story. So we might be speedrunning through this segment a little bit.
That's fine.
I don't want to rehash everything that we already did.
Totally.
Yeah, go ahead and listen to Kingdom Minds. Just do that. We'll come back to it maybe. But one of the things I get my guests to do sometimes is give a 2-minute summary of the topic. Would you like to do that?
Wait, am I giving a 2-minute summary of Kingdom Hearts?
Yes.
Oh man, this is gonna be impossible. But essentially, boy with big shoes gets big key.
Yep.
Goes to a bunch of worlds.
Right.
Fights the darkness. And then realizes he connects with everybody. He's traveled along with a talking duck and dog.
That's
that
right.
You may or may not recognize. And yeah, it's just, I mean, layers upon layers. It's just, you go to different worlds, you fight the Heartless. There's a lot of characters. There's so many characters. And I'm not even just talking about Disney characters. It's just, there's a lot of original characters that all have so much depth to them.
Yes.
And the lore goes so deep. I mean, you've got like a prequel to like the Sora Riku Kairi, like, all that went up like timeline, if that makes sense. And you've got your 3 other characters, Seraphim, Aqua. You've got your Seesaw trio, your Roxas, Axel, Shion trio. There's a lot of trios, a lot of characters. And for me to try to summarize Kingdom Hearts in 2 minutes, I feel like would be a disservice because it's actually impossible. But it's a great franchise. It's so good. It's all just one continuous story. Every game is connected. Every game is important to the plot. And yeah, and it's still going on. It's not done. You know, we ended what we have called the Dark Seeker saga with Kingdom Hearts 3, but it has we're now kind of venturing into this this new saga. And I would, you know, I've said this before on previous podcasts, but like, you know, Kingdom Hearts is my favorite series of all time, and it's always been the story and the characters that have wrote me in. But even now, I feel like now with where it's going, it's probably more interesting now than it's ever been. So yeah, I mean, hey, it's if you love Disney and you love Square Enix, I think Kingdom Hearts is for you, and I don't think you'll be disappointed.
Absolutely, I think that's about time. That was a good job. I'm sorry I did that to you.
No, it's okay. I mean, I did the best that I could. So
it was great, actually. No, I feel like that was a good summary of the Kingdom Hearts series for people that know nothing about it, which I don't know if people coming over from Kingdom Minds necessarily. We'll find out, I guess.
Right.
But cool. So real quick,
okay.
When did you discover Kingdom Hearts?
Yeah. So it's so funny. I think I was like 6 or 7. My grandma, I think it was for Christmas or for my birthday. I want to say Christmas. That makes more sense. My grandma bought me Kingdom Hearts 1. And because like I love Disney. And so she saw like Donald and Goofy and Mickey and like all these like Disney characters on the back of the cover. And you're like, oh, this will be like a fun, cute, like kids game and whatever. And I was like, oh yeah. And then I started playing it and I was like, oh, well, I'm fighting alongside Aladdin. It's like one of my favorite Disney movies, you know? It's like, it's so freaking cool. But yeah, that's how I got into it. My grandma literally just bought me the game. And then it's funny because as you get later on into the series, you realize it's not just a kid's game. It's not even close.
No.
Yeah, it's very wholesome. It's a very wholesome franchise, but no, it definitely has its dark moments. And that is something I didn't realize until later on, because Kingdom Hearts 1 is pretty wholesome, nostalgic. I think Kingdom Hearts 1 has a lot of charm and magic to it, you know. But then like the story really, really starts to get deep and crazy whenever you get past that. Which is what I love. I love complex stories. Like I know people complain about Kingdom Hearts being complex all the time. I freaking love it. I love putting the pieces together, it's like a puzzle, like figuring out like, oh, this is why this person, how this person's connected to this person, and this is how this is why this is this, and so my grandma got it for me, and here I am. Still a fan 20 years later.
100%. I think what you said about it being complex and being like a puzzle is really interesting, because like the further that you go into Kingdom Hearts, like the longer it continues, you see all these concepts like come up again and again. And because I was talking to someone, to Vaughn in a previous episode about Star Wars, and she was saying like, like people complain about the fact that every little thing has to be explained as it goes along. I'm like, yeah, but I think that's important because it shows you why that event was significant.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I
think that's cool.
I'm kind of a fan of both, like, you know, having things explained, but also leaving some things open-ended and open to interpretation, because it's like because like it's like, oh, like I can see this happening, but I could also see this happening. And like I know with Nomura, whenever he writes these stories for Kingdom Hearts, and whenever he's making these games, you know, he intentionally will, like, I've noticed he'll intentionally leave certain things kind of open, and then he'll use it later on. And so like, oh man, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to go too far into spoiler territory.
We gotta try and keep the spoiler free.
Yeah. But like, I'll just say this, like, there's one of the organization members is definitely you know, there's a big reveal with him later on in one of the later games, but it's teased in like Kingdom Hearts 2 if you just read like the character files, and it's pretty interesting. you know. And I think you know who I'm talking about, Karis.
Yes,
maybe
I
not.
do.
Yeah. So yeah. So we won't talk about it, but essentially, yeah, he'll leave things just kind of open and be like, and then he'll come back to it later. And I really like that kind of storytelling, you know. And again, just because it keeps like the theories going, like people. I'm sure we'll be talking about the fandom because if this is Journey into the fandom, but like
that's true, yes.
the fandom is. I've never seen more theories about a game than Kingdom Hearts. Like people theorize about this franchise all the time because there's always so much to talk about. Because there's always something that we don't know that usually gets explained later down the line, but it also keeps us intrigued, you know? So
yes,
yeah,
that's a good segue. So when did you discover the Kingdom Hearts community, and how did you get involved?
Yeah, man, I mean, I got into Kingdom Hearts when I was 7, so I couldn't say I was a part of the community. Like, I didn't even know fandoms and communities were a thing as a kid. You know, I just kind of played the game and I was like, oh, yeah, you know, because like I didn't have, like, we had a computer, but I wasn't allowed on it unless like I had my mom's permission. And I wasn't even really allowed to like watch a lot of YouTube in the day. And yeah, I mean, I think I want to say I probably started actually getting into like the fandom. And when I say fandom, I mean like kind of like looking up like videos and theories and just news and stuff like that. I think it was probably, I want to say it was after Birth by Sleep.
Okay.
Because at that point I would have been, I think Birth by Sleep came out in, it was like 2010, 11 or 12 was around that time. And so I was like, you know, I was a teenager and that was whenever like Kingdom Hearts 2 like really hooked me, but then Birth by Sleep for me was kind of like the point where I was like, whoa, like this is so much bigger than I thought it was, and I freaking love that. You know?
Yes.
And so because Birth by Sleep is a prequel. It takes place 10 years before Kingdom Hearts 1. And a lot of stuff happens during that time.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I think like, because that's whenever I really was like, oh, wait. Now I know how this person is connected to this person that I've known for like 6 years playing this game. And then so I started just looking up stuff. And then, yeah, I think what really got me into the community at first, I was originally just looking up just like top 10s. So like top 10 Kingdom Hearts characters, top 10 saddest moments, top 5 hardest bosses, like just like stuff like that. Cause I was like, I'm curious of like what people thought, you know? And then what I would do is I would watch these videos. So if it was like a top 10 or top 5 hardest boss videos, and then I would go back and try to beat those bosses. So that was kind of like my experience with that. I was like, okay, like, let me see if I can beat this. And yeah, I think that was kind of like when I got into it. It was right around after Birth by Sleep. Because I remember I bought a PSP just to play Birth by Sleep because it was only on PSP at the time.
Yeah.
And that's the only game I ever played on PSP. I never touched it again. And
Makes
then
sense.
the remixes came out. They came on consoles, which was amazing. That was like a dream for me when that happened.
Yes.
But yeah, so yeah, that was around that time. And it was really just me like watching just, you know, top 10 videos and AMVs and just like
there's so many AMVs.
There's so many AMVs. I thought it was so fascinating. And yeah, so that was kind of my introduction, I guess, into the fandom.
And yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, an AMV is an anime music video, so it's basically footage of Kingdom Hearts to a song.
Right.
And there's a ton of those. There's like thousands of them
all
over
especially
YouTube.
For I mean, you could yours AMVs for everything. Like I'm sure there's even a Crash Bandicoot one. You know, like what?
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm sure. I haven't. Have I seen one? No, I haven't. But hey, I don't know. So
yeah, incredible. Yeah, and actually, like David on Kingdom Minds has done a few of them for Kingdom Hearts as well, which is really cool. Anyways. But no, that's awesome. So, like, I guess for you, it was like a quest for information. Like, oh, yeah, I want to find out about this and what people are saying. Yeah. And then you started obviously making content and all that stuff. So how has that impacted your involvement in the community now that you're like a voice, I should say?
Oh, man. Yeah, it's kind of sheesh. Because so basically, like, I started a YouTube channel. and I wanted to just do live streams. Like I just wanted to like play games and I share my experiences. And I knew I loved Kingdom Hearts. And so I was like, all right, like the first game I'm going to stream is Kingdom Hearts 3 when it comes out. So like that's when I started my channel. Was like I started like before Kingdom Hearts 3. I was kind of doing like a road to Kingdom Hearts 3 like little let's play thing, but then I kind of just like axed that because it ended up being like the quality ended up being terrible and there was a lot of audio issues and stuff. And I had no idea what I was doing. I was doing everything on my laptop, so I had no clue what I was doing. But yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3, I started just a channel and I just like was like, yeah, like I love Kingdom Hearts. And so I played Kingdom Hearts 3 on stream and I just used PS4 share. You know, I didn't have a PC or anything. I just did everything straight from my PS4. And yeah, like quite a few people just found the live streams. And then it was so funny. One of my friends who's also in the Kingdom Hearts. Cause I remember before the game came out, they released I think it was the opening movie for the game. And I was like watching, I watched it like 50 times because I was trying to dissect everything that was in it. And I remember like showing my friend, I was like, dude, check this out. Like, I think this chess piece represents this person. And just like stuff like that. Cause with the whole chessboard and like, they're all like a character and stuff like that. You know, when you get to Kingdom Hearts 3, you'll find out what I'm talking about. But anyway, I was talking to my friend and he was like, dude, like, you seem to kind of know yourself. You should like make like a theory video. And I was like, I don't know about that. Like, I kind of just want to play the game and share my experience. But then I was like, you know what? I have like one theory that I'm just gonna make this video. I'm gonna download like some software on my laptop, make this video, and just see like what happens. And I'll probably never make another theory video again. And so, I mean, we're gonna be getting into a little bit of. Actually, no, we'll keep it spoiler free. Essentially, I made a theory video about one of the secret bosses in Kingdom Hearts 3, and it got like 50,000 views.
Yeah, that's so cool.
And I was like, what? Like, so then I was like, dang, well, I don't like. Gosh, I mean, I guess I can do this, I guess, you know, and like, it's not like the greatest theory. It was just kind of like, yeah, so I think this is like something cool. And people were just like interacted with it. I was like, oh, nice. And so, yeah. And after that, I was like, all right, like, I don't want to just be a Kingdom Hearts channel because I wanted to stream other games. And so basically like my channel was literally like, it's so funny because it's not the ideal way to do a YouTube channel if you're trying to like grow and like make this like your job or something. I literally do whatever I want. So like I'll do anything from live playthroughs to like Kingdom Hearts theory videos to like random like just memes to like whatever the heck I want. Like I made a video. This is the most ridiculous video I've ever made. It's I called it "Can I Finish a 6-inch sub before Sephiroth finishes Supernova?" And so like if like you know anything about like Sephiroth Supernova animation in Final Fantasy 7, you know you kind of know where that's going. But anyway, like just like stupid stuff like that. But yeah, I make the occasional Kingdom Hearts theory. And so I guess how that's kind of like, that's definitely given me a new perspective on the community because I didn't realize, I realized that a lot of people have a lot of takes and criticisms towards just like really anything. And Kingdom Hearts. I mean, this is with any fandom, I feel like, but I was definitely exposed to the more what's the word? Hardcore side of the fandom, I think, whenever I made at least that first theory video, and then I started to make more and just stuff like that. And yeah, so I kind of, because I never really like, I was never really on Reddit or anything. Like my Reddit experience would just be like, I would Google something and then it's like, oh, this is on reddit.com. And then I'd read like a thread. That's like pretty much that. But like, yeah, I mean, I guess just like now creating the occasional Kingdom Hearts content, I'm kind of seeing all sides of the fandom. I'm seeing like the sides that are like, yo, like this is really cool. I think this would be really interesting if this happened. And then I'm seeing the sides of like, you're an idiot. how could you ever think that this could ever happen? I'm like, okay, like, hey, like, I'm seeing both sides now. But yeah, I mean, it's been cool. I mean, I love it. Like, I love stirring up conversation. And like, I don't take criticism like personally. Like, I'll say this. I don't take like, if I make a Kingdom Hearts theory video and someone's like, I think you're an idiot for thinking this, I don't take that personally. So I'm like, it's a theory. Like, it's whatever, you know?
Sure.
But yeah, I don't know if that answered your question. I know I kind of talked a lot about that. But
no, it's really interesting. Like, so I guess what I'm getting is like, you know, starting to make theory videos, whether that's like a thing that you do regularly or not, it doesn't really matter. But like, it sort of showed you.
I've seen all sides of the fandom, I feel like, at this point now.
I feel like you get to a point where you see the same stuff crop up on Twitter a lot.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And it's like, I've seen this before, you know, people arguing over the same thing.
The same thing. It's I mean, I don't know if we're gonna be, I think we're gonna be talking about discourse a little bit later. I'm sure. But
we can move on to that if you want.
It's up to you. It's up to you if you got any more other questions.
Any other questions? No, let's jump into discourse. Let's do that.
Let's jump into the juice. Let's jump into the spice.
Let's do it.
Oh man,
the spicy discourse. So, actually, no. I want to ask you, as a fan of Smash, what does Sora coming to Smash mean to you?
Oh, I cried.
Yeah,
I absolutely bawled my eyes out.
It was a beautiful reaction. I loved it.
So here's the thing, right? Whenever I saw that Cloud got into Smash, I was like, Sora can get in. Sora can do like Sora. If Cloud can make it, Sora can make it. And so I was always, the thing is like literally because ever since Cloud got in, I mean, I thought it would be cool to see Sora get into Smash. But ever since Cloud got in, I was like, okay, I want to see Sora in Smash Brothers. Like, I want to. Like, Smash Brothers is one of my favorite franchises growing up. And it still actually is, just because, like, I have a lot of memories playing with my friends. I used to go over, you know, to my friend's house all the time and play Melee. I played so much Melee with my friends. And, you know, it's been a series that's been near and dear to my heart just because of all the memories that I made just playing with friends. And to have one of my favorite, not even just one of my favorite franchises represented, but like one of my favorite video game characters in Smash Brothers, like the king of crossovers in a game that is the king of crossovers, you know?
True.
Like, would just be amazing. And so, but for years, like ever since the ballot happened, you know, I always said this. I always say this. I always said that, like, because I'm a huge Crash Bandicoot fan as well. Crash is the first video game I ever played. Crash has a special place in my heart. I always said that, like, Sora would be the dream, but, like, I want Crash more than Sora. But the only reason why I said that, and I didn't, like, I actually had to, like, I thought about this. It was really just because I was so discouraged from people telling me that Sora's never going to get in because he's a Disney character and Disney would never allow it. And you're an idiot for thinking Sora's going to get in. I was so discouraged from thinking that he was going to get into Smash. And I was like, okay, I mean, it would be cool if he got in, but I'm not going to expect it because I've kind of been just like, for years, I feel like anytime I'd be like, yeah, Sora would be amazing in Smash, somebody would be like, that's never going to happen. And it would just get into this like super toxic conversation. And so that's why, like, for years, I was just like, I kind of just like suppressed, like, I guess how much I wanted Sora in Smash, you know? But then whenever it actually happened, like he was the final DLC character for Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. One, I can't think of a better character than Sora to be the last character. But two, like, dude, it was one of the most emotional days of my life. I feel like I'm not even joking. Like, because I was just told for years that it can't happen. Yeah. It can't happen. So I just, you know, anytime I would ever think that there's a chance, I would say no. I would always tell myself it can't happen because I was always told for years by outside sources and from other people that it's never going to happen. And so I was kind of like just discouraged and thinking that it could. And I always felt like an idiot, or felt like, just like, I don't know. I just felt like not great whenever I had a hope of somebody getting into Smash Brothers. But then like when it happened, it was the best day of my life. Like it was just, I spent like a week just watching reactions, like just straight up. And
it was so much fun.
And it was just perfect. Like the trailer was perfect. Like him being the one, like essentially using the power of waking to reawaken everybody from their trophy slumber, and then like flying over the entire cast. He's the light in the darkness, like stuff like that. And then like that final handshake with Mario at the end, that sealed it for me. Like whenever that final handshake is like, that was it. That was it. And it's just, so I'm ecstatic that he's in, and I still actually can't believe it. Like it still feels like a dream, and it's been like a month,
Right. It feels like only yesterday that it happened. It's like, no, it's actually been a ton of time. It's wild. And like, isn't that so beautiful? The fact that we were told over and over again it wasn't going to happen. It was never going to happen. And you know what? Like, Sora never gives up.
Exactly.
You know what? Right. Like, he's always there. He always shows up. Like, and it's just beautiful to me. It's just a perfect like embodiment of this is Kingdom Hearts. Yeah. Like, and he defied all expectations.
Here's what's crazy, because like so like my roommate, he doesn't play Smash, and he's never played Kingdom Hearts. Like he was actually in the Discord call with me for the Smash reveal, because he just wanted to join me. I was like, yeah, like absolutely. And he spent like days watching reactions to Sora and Smash, and then he got emotional. And he's never played Smash. Like he doesn't play Smash, and he doesn't play Kingdom Hearts. And I'm like, that's just the effect that Sora has on people. Like it's crazy. And so now he's actually playing Kingdom Hearts for the first time. Because
that's so cool.
Yeah, which is so cool. And it's like it's really awesome. Like that just the impact that Sora specifically has. Yeah. Just on people, and just how like Kingdom Hearts, I feel like is now bigger than people realize. Like I feel like whenever it was starting out, like I didn't know anybody who even heard of Kingdom Hearts, but like now it's like I feel like God, like now Sora's in Smash, so now people are gonna probably be playing Kingdom Hearts now too, and that's like it's crazy. So yeah, definitely, it's definitely an emotional moment, just because this character means the world to me, and the series just means the world to me, and seeing that in Smash Brothers is just like it's a dream.
That's so cool. Like I've never even really played Smash, but like just see everybody get so excited and like everyone come together and like celebrate this moment. It was really beautiful to watch. I was like, yes, this is what it's all about.
Yeah.
And it's too bad that the community isn't like that on Twitter most of the time.
Yeah, it's like this. We had like 5 days of peace, I feel like. Whenever Sora got into Smash, like there was the one time, and for as long as I can remember, that the community actually came together and was just like at peace and happy. But then, there's always something to talk about. There's always something to argue about.
That's right.
And yeah,
it's dumb. I feel like I tune out a lot of the negativity. I don't really know what people are talking about these days.
Right.
I feel like it's a lot to do with, when's the next game coming out? I'm like, people got no patience at all. Mm-hmm. Like, I understand that people are excited, and I get it, but I don't know. I feel like Square Enix fans specifically, they tend to just, like, they're either, like, far too hyped for something to happen, or they're like, yeah, like, don't get excited because, it would just ruin your expectations.
Dude, as a Square Enix stan, I completely agree with that. Like, like for real. Like, it's, I mean, there's just a lot of the Kingdom Hearts community, it's so funny that there's so much discourse and drama that happens for a game that's all about friendship and unity and connections.
Yeah.
Like it's just like
it's so strange.
It's really funny. And it doesn't make any sense to me. Like there doesn't need to be drama. Like
no.
Gosh, I'm sure. Again, we're talking about it now, but I know one of the questions that you sent me was, what's some discourse that happens in the community, and there's so much. I don't even know where to start. Actually, okay, here's a big one.
Yep.
And I hate this debate so much. I think it's so dumb. But it's the argument of whether Kingdom Hearts 2 or 3 is like the better game.
Oh.
I can't stand it. I cannot stand it because you've got like the Kingdom Hearts 2 side saying Kingdom Hearts 3 is trash, like it's too easy. It's this. It's like you just press X to win, even though Kingdom Hearts 2 is press triangle to win. But anyway, whatever. Right. And so it's like it's just like all this stuff. And then on the Kingdom Hearts 3 side, it's like, well, you guys just don't like to have fun, like yada, 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 like Kingdom Hearts 2 as like this and that. And it's just like, I hate like why, like if you enjoy a game, then you would then just enjoy the game. Like you don't need to argue about which game is the better game. Right. Like I feel like these arguments don't need to happen.
No, they're so dumb.
Like, because what happens is like, the people, and this is for both sides of this argument, the people who acknowledge that Kingdom Hearts 2 is the best game in the series will never acknowledge its flaws, and it's vice versa for the other side. And I'm like, dude, like, so for me personally, like Kingdom Hearts 2 is like my favorite game of all time. But I think, and this is just an opinion, I think Kingdom Hearts 3 is the better game. I think it's the better game.
That is a take.
Yeah, I think it's a better game. It's just you can guard in the air. You can use items in the air. There's a lot of more like quality of life stuff. And I mean, like I'm not saying like, again, like I think it's the better game overall. But Kingdom Hearts 2 is my favorite because I think I have the most fun playing Kingdom Hearts 2. I'm not saying it's more fun than 3. But I just have I always can go back to Kingdom Hearts 2 and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's nostalgia. I don't know if it's like just because the game is fun or whatever. I always see myself going back to Kingdom Hearts 2. Like Kingdom Hearts 2 has so many flaws. Like it's got the worst level design in the series, if you ask me. That's just my opinion. The level design's awful. Locking growth abilities behind drive forms was the worst thing they've ever done. Like I didn't even know Glide was in the game until like I played like Final Mix, I think. Because you don't get Glide until you get Final Form, and then they don't even tell you how to get Final Form. You kind of just got to figure it out. And so
it's pretty dumb.
Yeah, and so it's like just stuff like that. Using magic in the air is really bad. Like magnet and reflector broken. There's just a lot of flaws in the game. A lot of the fights are very gimmicky. I don't mind gimmicky fights, but it's just because like they're fun, they're flashy. It's a good time, but it's like sometimes like we don't need every fight to have a gimmick, I guess. But again, just my opinion, just my opinion. But like, again, going back to the whole, like, which game is better, 2 or 3? Like, I think the drama is completely unnecessary. Like, I think as the fandom, and I say we because I am a part of the fandom, I don't want to just look at the fandom from a bird's eye and say, hey, this is what you guys are doing wrong, right? Like, I'm a part of this with everybody, we tend to like, I think we forgot how to like love each other while being able to disagree, And I think that's just a general thing in general with where we are in 2021. Like, do you realize you could disagree with somebody and still like be friends with them? Do you realize that you could disagree with somebody and not block them on Twitter?
That's insane. That's like, a revolutionary idea.
Right. It's like, and it's like, what happened? Like, but it's also, but as like, here's the thing too, like, and I didn't realize this until I actually listened to your podcast with Landy. Because Landy was talking about how when Kingdom Hearts 2 came out, everybody was like bashing Kingdom Hearts 2 of how bad it was compared to Kingdom Hearts 1. And so like, this stuff has been going around for forever. you know? And then it's funny now because now people praise Kingdom Hearts 2. You know, it's just funny how that works. But it's like, I feel like it's never really going to change. Like there's always going to be some kind of drama. There's always going to be this debate. And I'm kind of just like over it, I guess. Like, honestly, like I literally for a while was like, especially this year, I felt like I was experiencing like burnout from Kingdom Hearts. And it wasn't from playing the games. It was just from the fandom. Cause like I would scroll Twitter and like, it's like every single freaking day of my life, there's always some new hot take about Kingdom Hearts on Twitter and somebody's arguing about something, whether it's like, which game's the better game, whether it's like, oh my gosh, I can't. So I'm not like a shipper. And seeing like the ship arguments, I'm just like, this is just so annoying. Like I just like I'm being completely candid and honest right now. Like I think all the drama is super annoying. Like I think it's so unnecessary. Like the people arguing about like shipping characters with other characters. And like I was like, why do you gotta argue about this stuff? Like this is a video game, you know, but
another thing that comes to mind, sorry, I just totally talked over you.
No, you're good. You're fine.
Kairi's role in the series, like, can she not just be a character?
Yes, and that's
like,
another
can we not
thing.
Just leave her alone?
People, oh my gosh, it's like, and then here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. I think the biggest problem that we, as the Kingdom Hearts fandom, have, I think this is literally the root of everything. That of all the drama, we feel like we need to defend a certain aspect of this game whenever somebody says something bad or critical about it. Yeah. Like I feel like there's always this need to feel like we have to defend it. Like if IGN gives Remind a 4 out of 10 on YouTube, right? It's like we feel that we have to defend this game as if like IGN's say and a DLC is going to like alter the course of the series. Right. So it's like, it's just like, we always feel the need to have to like defend and like, and to make our voice heard when honestly, it's probably just better to be silent most of the time, which is why I usually don't get involved with like this, like the discourse and the drama. Cause it's like, it's pointless. It's not going to get you anywhere. Cause like, no matter, it's just people debating. Like it's debates. It's just literally in any debate, it's one side convincing the other side that they're wrong and they think they're right, but really everybody else is wrong. You know, it's like, it's just silly. And so
it is.
Yeah. Just like, again, with like Kairi, like, again, it's like, I feel like and it's so, I don't know if you get this way too, but anytime I'm on Twitter, I always feel like, and I'm not bashing like anyone on Twitter or anything, but I always see like the same like 8 Twitter accounts like posting something like a hot take or something about Kingdom Hearts that's going to start like some kind of drama. And it's always like this. I always see the same accounts on Twitter. And it's always like, again, I'm not making fun of anybody. I'm not bashing anybody, but it always seems to be like, there's like all these Twitter accounts they have like the Union Cross, like asterisk next to it. And I always see those accounts all the time. That are just posting something, and then there's always people arguing with them. And again, I'm not bashing them. I freaking love those accounts. Like they're great, you know? But it's it's just all the time. It's like, guys, please, like I feel like the fandom is eating itself alive because we haven't had like really any news, you know, besides Sora getting into Smash and like the Union Cross finale. And so it's like everyone's just like at each other's throats because we don't have anything else to talk about. So we're just going to talk about everything that we can until a new game comes out. But it's like, at that point, I'm just like, honestly, like, please just go play another game. Like, please go play another game. Go play The World Ends With You. The World Ends With You was like the best thing that's happened to me this year. That franchise is amazing.
I gotta do it.
It was such a good change of pace for me. And like, that's a community where like, I'm sure every community has its toxicity, but I have not experienced the toxic side of that fandom yet. You know, like that's the Twoolie fandom. You know, like that's literally really the Twoolie fandom is just like, I just want people to play my game. Like, please just play my game. You know, it's just like the puppy dog eyes. Like, that's what I imagine. And I'm that way too. I'm like, please just play this game. It's amazing.
Okay.
But yeah,
I'll get to it. I need to.
Yeah,
I know the last time we talked,
actually,
I said I was going to, and then
here's what's crazy, Karis. Actually, as of today, I'm pretty sure. I think if you hadn't, you don't have a Switch. Never mind. We were talking about this earlier. We were talking about this before.
Okay. The listeners might want to know.
They actually made Twiwi 1 free for a week if you have Switch Online for
cool.
right now. So people are definitely going to be taking advantage of that.
Heck yeah.
But yeah, I mean, going back to, sorry, I have so much to say. I feel like I'm sorry. I hate talking over people, but like,
absolutely.
Yeah, and again, if I ever talk over you at any time, please just yell at me. Just yell in the mic. Let me know. But again, going back to like the discourse, it's like people like are like, yo, Kyrie doesn't have any involvement in the series. Like, and then people were like, well, you know, like Kyrie, they're saving up Kyrie for this. And there's always this argument about Kyrie, and it's just like, again, like you said earlier, can we just let her just be a character? Like,
yes,
she's gonna have her time to shine. You know, like it's gonna happen. And I'm sure Namor is saving her for something amazing. And there's just no need to argue about this stuff, right? And it's always the same stuff.
I'm really excited to see where she goes as a character, but I also feel that people just overlook the things that she has done already.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
She's like Sora, like, up on.
Like, dude, I don't think people realize that in Kingdom Hearts 3, the only reason why, I guess this is kind of a spoiler. So essentially, the only reason why Sora was able to save as many people as he did in the end game was because Kyrie was the one holding him together.
Yeah.
It was literally Kyrie. If it wasn't for Kyrie, we wouldn't have a future of Kingdom Hearts. To be completely honest.
Exactly. 100%.
Sora would have failed. Sora would probably be dead. Like, everyone would be dead. Kyrie believed in Sora and she held him together, and people overlook that. You want to know why? Because it wasn't something that they tangibly saw happen on screen. Like, I'm someone who believes that, like, characters can have great development and do great things even if they're not on screen, you know?
Yeah.
And so, like, as much as I want to see this stuff happen on screen, it would be great, but it's like people, like, again, like you said, people overlook all these amazing things that Kyrie has done, even though she doesn't have much screen time in the series. Like, I wish she had more, but you know, she has done some really great things, and she has literally, like, I make this argument all the time in Kingdom Hearts 3, she is what saved Kingdom Hearts 3. Like, she saved she believing in Sora is why Sora was able to save everybody, you know?
Yep.
And so, 100%. Like, people always overlook that, you know?
Kyrie stan for life.
Yes. We love Kyrie here. Absolutely.
She's so good. But, I mean, if you don't like her, that's fine. Just, you know.
And that's the thing.
Yell at other people.
You don't have to like every single character, right? That's okay. Like, but we don't have to, like, you know, be at each other's throats about it because, like, somebody likes Terra and then somebody else hates Terra and thinks he's an idiot. Like, you know, we just, like, there's no point. And, like, where's that going to get you?
100%. Yeah. So who's, like, the main creators that you follow at the moment? Any people up and coming? There's so many. I feel like there's a new Kingdom Hearts creator, like, every day.
Oh, every waking week of my life, I feel like. Yeah, I think, so I'll say this. I think, like, for me, it's definitely been, like, the big one for me has been, I followed HMK ever since, like, Dream Drop Distance was coming out. And it's so funny because, like, he was, like, the first channel I ever subscribed to on YouTube. Cause I didn't watch a lot of YouTube. And, I was just like, he was basically, like, informing people about, like, news with Kingdom Hearts 3. And so I was like, okay, he's dropping Kingdom Hearts 3 news. I want to stay up to date with this. So anytime he, like, uploads, like, Kingdom Hearts 3 video, I was on it because I want to know what's going on with this game. And so, I would say for years, I think HMK has been, like, the one that I always kind of, like, look to. And, you know, he's got all these theory videos that are really brilliant. And just, like, he's done a lot of really good stuff for the community, you know? And, like, I know, like, not a lot of people like him. because like he does give off a certain energy where it seems like not everybody's gonna like him. Like he's definitely he has a strong personality.
Mm-hmm.
I love the guy. I mean, that's just me. But like he's like one of the forerunners in the community, and that's kind of what got me more invested, I guess, into the community. Like it started with Birth by Sleep, but then once I started watching his content, I started getting more and more into like the community. Then I found like Skyward Wing, the Gamers Joint, like all these other Kingdom Hearts creators. Sarah Key was another one. Sarah Key was a big one.
They're great.
Yeah, they're all great. And I would say for me, for the longest time, that's kind of been like the people that I've always looked to and seen as like, yeah, these are the forerunners. And then you've got, oh my gosh, dude, I like when Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, I feel like just a whole wave of new creators just were born.
Yeah, they just showed up. They just showed up.
Like, well, I guess this would be before King. I actually don't even know how long his channel's been around. But BioRoxas is another one where like, you know,
I'm pretty sure he came around about the start of KH3 as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but like it's cool because like
maybe,
all these Kingdom Hearts channels, it's really cool because like they have something different to give to the community. I think, you know, like HMK does a lot of like news and theories. The Gamers Joint also does news and stuff like that. Skyward Wing and Sarah, they do just like Sarah Key did like Kingdom Hearts on a dance pad, so it's just like fun stuff like that. Skyward Wing does like just fun Kingdom Hearts content, you know. Just like stuff like that, whether it's like stuff from his stream or whatever. And then you have someone like BioRoxas, who he makes these like mechanic breakdown videos, which is like a whole different aspect of Kingdom Hearts that no one's really doing, you know? And I think that's so interesting. It's so cool, you know? So it's like, it's so funny. I feel like this is going to be such a weird comparison. I feel like the Kingdom Hearts community in a way is kind of like the body of Christ in a way, you know, where it's like, there's always, there's aspects, you know, we're all one body and there's different aspects of the body. Like you've got one part of the body who's like your crackhead theorists. You got another part of the body who's doing like these wacky Kingdom Hearts challenges. You got another part of the body who's like breaking down the gameplay mechanics and making the, you know, like analyzing things and stuff like that. And you've got another part who's like, you know, talking about like their hopes and aspirations and doing podcasts, you know, and stuff like that. And it's like, it's really cool. You know, the community is very diverse. And that's something that I love about the fandom. It's how diverse it is. You know, I don't hate everything about the fandom. I actually love the fandom. I love it to death. And which is why I tend to like, I think be upset whenever there's a lot of drama in the fandom, because I do love this. I do love this community a lot. But that's awesome. Like BioRoxas, gosh, I mean, I've had the absolute privilege and honor to just become friends with like some of these like new creators, like Landy. The Landy Lodge is amazing. I love that dude to death. Like I literally went to go visit that guy for like 4 days. Like we became such good friends, and like
that's amazing.
Gosh, just people over like who just stream Kingdom Hearts, like my boy Josh Sheesh. I'm gonna give a shout out to him real quick because he's amazing. I just met so many amazing people through just the community. This newer guy on the block, as Landy likes to say, Sonny Novus.
Sonny Novus,
freaking Sonny Novus is he literally is. I'm not joking. Like he's probably my new favorite Kingdom Hearts creator because his videos are unbelievable. They're unbelievable. Like so much time and effort, so much thought. They're so well articulated. And so like if y'all were wondering, like he does like these theory videos, but it's not just like a typical theory video. Like he gets into the meat and thick of it and like just dissects everything, like everything that you can think of. This dude's coming up with theories that like no one's ever thought of before.
Right.
And no one's ever talked about. And my goodness, I feel like I'm his biggest fan right now. Like I watch his videos all the time. He only has like 3 videos, but I watch them all the time because they're so good. And they're edited so amazing. And this dude this dude just got a new PC too, which is crazy because like if you were to like watch like his he has one, my favorite video by him is his first one. It's it's the False King video.
It's incredible.
Yeah, and like he edited all of that on his laptop or something. I don't even know.
It's ridiculous.
And I'm like, man, that's amazing that you could do this. And like, you know, it inspires me to want to be better with my content, right? And I'm like, dang. And now that this dude, like, he literally just got like a new PC, like he was saying on Twitter, it's like, yeah, I got my new PC, like, and people have helped him with that via Patreon and stuff. And so now I'm super excited to see what he's going to make now with like all this new stuff. But yeah, I've never looked forward to, I've never been more looking forward to like somebody releasing a video than this guy. And this guy's only been around for like a few months. Dude is amazing. Yeah. Dude is amazing. I'll talk about Sunny all day.
Yeah, let's go.
Gosh, I feel like I'm fangirling, but it is what it is. So yeah, I mean, there's so many amazing creators in this community. A lot of different aspects, you know. Well, again, it's kind of like it's like the body of Christ, right? It's literally it's the body of Kingdom Hearts. Like it's
the body of Kingdom.
Yes, there's so many aspects to the body, but here's the thing: we're all one body. We're all one community at the end of the day. You know?
Yeah.
So.
And meanwhile, there's me out here shafting my Kingdom Hearts podcast to make this show instead. But
that's also, hey. I mean,
we'll get back to it.
this podcast is amazing because like you're gonna have people listening in. You'll probably have people come from who are listeners to like your Kingdom Minds podcast and come listen to this podcast because they're like, oh yeah, like I listen to Kingdom Minds all the time. They'll come over here, they'll hear a podcast about Star Wars and be like, yo, I didn't know like Karis was into Star Wars. That's cool or whatever. I don't know, but like, hey, like this, what you're doing is so important. You know, it's so important. I think
that's kind.
I think podcasts are because like I never really listened to podcasts a lot until like college. Like college is when I was like, all right, I'm gonna just listen to like so many podcasts, and man, they're so great. They're so great. Yeah. Like I feel like no matter what you're listening to, you're gonna learn something. You know,
I think so.
So
yeah, I've learned so much. It's been great, and yeah, no, I feel like you're very passionate about the community as well, like despite the fact that there's like drama and so on, but it's like yeah there's so many cool people and cool creators coming up with new ideas all the time. It's
absolutely
so fun. Yeah, and I feel like you and Landy and like some other people have like a little circle going on, which is fun. So I guess Kingdom Hearts just brings people together.
It really does. Yeah, it was. I was playing Mario Party with Landy yesterday, literally yesterday. You know, it's cool. It's just like I've made a lot of friends through the fandom and the community, and anytime that I always say like if I ever because we were talking about the discourse earlier, and you know I hate it. Like I think it's dumb. I think all the drama is dumb. But it's just like I just want to see better for the community. You know, like I love the community so much. I just don't want to see people at each other's throats all the time, you know?
Yeah.
And so real. Yeah. It's all out of love. It's all out of love. If your favorite Kingdom Hearts game is Dream Drop Distance or Recoded, by all means, you're allowed to love that game to death. You know?
Yeah.
Like there shouldn't be like people saying you're not allowed to love this game because of this. That's the dumbest thing to me. I can't really say I've seen that specifically a lot, but it does happen. It does happen. You know, I'll see stuff like, how can you enjoy this game when the story is written like this? And it's like, I don't know. I just enjoy it. You know, just let me enjoy things, right?
Right.
Like, not everything has to be written and orchestrated so perfectly in a game or a movie or a TV show for you to be able to enjoy it. I would actually argue that like the games that you enjoy the most are the games where you acknowledge its flaws and accept them. That's me for sure. As I said earlier, Kingdom Hearts 2 is one of my favorite, it actually probably is my favorite game of all time. But I think it's one of the most flawed Kingdom Hearts games, you know? Like, it has so many flaws. But I love it. I freaking love it, you know? So.
And 100%. I think, as well, everybody, what I'm learning during the show is, like, everybody comes to media differently. And everybody, like, gets something else, like, different out of it in the first place. And I think that Kingdom Hearts is so big. And there's so much to love. And there's so many different kinds of like you got Melody of Memory, which is a rhythm game,
right?
And you have Kingdom Hearts 1, which is just a an action RPG, and then Kingdom Hearts 2 and 3, but they all have different elements to them, different gameplay styles.
I still love Kingdom Hearts 1. I think Kingdom Hearts 1 is still one of my favorites to this day because
it's incredible. I love it too.
Kingdom Hearts, I'm going to keep bashing Kingdom Hearts 2, but I do it because I love the game so much, right? Like,
go ahead.
There's like Kingdom Hearts 1, there's a lot of these puzzles that you got to figure out. Like I think Kingdom Hearts 1 is the best level design. I genuinely think Kingdom Hearts 1 is the best level design in the series.
It's so good.
It's so good. Yeah, you've got puzzles, you've got things to interact with to like unlock secrets. You've got chests that you can see in like high places and you're like, how do I get up there? And then you get an ability later on and you come back and you're like, oh, I can get this chest now. And then it's like a really good item or like a keyblade or something like that. It's like, oh, and it's like, I think Kingdom Hearts 1 is great, and Kingdom Hearts 2 didn't really have a lot of what Kingdom Hearts 1 had. Like Kingdom Hearts 2 more so focused on like the combat, which was fine because the combat is so fun. It's so freaking fun. But it was kind of missing like the, like the puzzle aspect. I'm not saying every Kingdom Hearts game has to have puzzles, but I guess that's just something that like, Kingdom Hearts 1, that's what makes it stand out from, I think, the rest of the games is just its level design. I love Kingdom Hearts level design so much. I think it's so good. Yeah,
I think it's great too. But I mean, my personal favorite is like Birth by Sleep, and I don't necessarily have a good reason for really liking it. Like, cause to me, like the gameplay, like is like secondary to me. Like to me, it's all about the story. Like,
Birth by Sleep probably has my favorite story. Actually,
it has an amazing story, and there's betrayal, and then there's redemption, and there's confusion and like mistrust.
There's a lot of themes in Birth by Sleep.
There's so much going on.
And you tackle 3 different characters and you do 3 different campaigns with each character. And it's also like the one game that really, I guess besides like 358 over 2 days, that I was like, I really started to put pieces of the puzzle together because, again, we won't talk about too many spoilers, but like there's a scene at the end with one character and then you find out he's connected to a character that we know and love in the previous Kingdom Hearts games. And then it's like, wait, and then that's why this character looks like this character because they're all connected, like in this way.
Yeah.
So it's like you start putting the pieces of the puzzle together. You start making those connections of like, oh, that's why this person looks like this. That's where he originated from. And it's like, oh, I love stuff like that.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
And I feel like Kingdom Hearts like allows you to do that so much, and especially like with other people as well. It's like you can just connect and be like, one person comes up with one idea and then someone else is like, yo, like that just made me think of this.
Yeah.
And it's just really dope. So I think that it allows you to just connect with others and make all these friends, and it's good stuff.
It's great.
Yeah. Is there anything else? I feel like we've covered a lot.
We talked about a lot, yeah. Like, man, I'm trying to think. I mean, sheesh. Yeah. I don't know. Like, I think we talked about pretty much everything that we could. I mean, like every fandom has its discourse. It's going to be like that. And there's definitely certain aspects of Kingdom Hearts that people like to argue about more than others. Yeah,
it's true.
But that shouldn't discourage anybody from liking one Kingdom Hearts game over another, or for liking one character over another. Or like, you know what I mean? It's like we shouldn't have to logically look at a character's development and be like, yo, I think you can like a character without the character necessarily being developed all the way, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Like
I agree 100%.
Like, cause like, Riku is somebody, he's always been my favorite character, but I feel like he's fully developed at this point, right? Like he's fully developed at this point, and I love Riku, but then people will look someone like Kairi and say Kairi's a bad character because she doesn't have this much screen time. And I'm like, no, she's a great character. Like her story's not over. You know what I mean? And like, you can like characters like, I don't know. You can even like characters in Union Cross even though they only appear in Union Cross, even if they don't have much development, like you can still like them. Like there's more to like about a character than just like how they're written, I guess. You know?
Yeah, I think so too. And I think like
if that makes any sense. I don't know if that was a hot take or not. I don't know if that was like a stupid thing to say. But it's just like I find myself in those situations all the time where I'm like, for example, I actually love Ansem the Wise's character. I love his character. Mm-hmm. A lot of people hate Ansem the Wise. And I think the reason why is because he's one of the most human characters in the game. Because he makes so many mistakes. He's done a lot of bad stuff. But like I think he's a great character. But people hate him because it's like or people will mistake, and I think this is in a lot of cases with other fandoms as well. People will mistake. There's a difference between having a bad character and then hating a character. Like you can dislike a character, but they still be a great character. You know? Like absolutely. I'm trying to think of an example. I'm playing through, what am I playing through right now? I'm playing through freaking Persona 5 Royal right now for my first time. And one of the villains in the game right now that I'm at, I hate him so much, but I think he's a great character. Like I love that I hate him, you know? Mm-hmm. And so I don't know. I don't really know what I'm trying to get with that, but yeah.
I think part of what you're trying to say, I don't know if I'm wrong, you just tell me. But it's like you don't have to justify why you like stuff necessarily.
Yes.
You don't have to have a reason. You can be like, I just like it.
I just like it. I agree with that. Yeah. There's going to be people who like, you know, certain things because of how like deep it is. Like Kingdom Hearts can get very deep. Yes. And
of course, you
know, but if there's a Kingdom Hearts game or any other game that they're comparing this super deep game or that they're comparing this game to, that's like super deep that they love, that's not as deep or whatever thought out as like something else, it's like, oh, it's automatically bad because it's not what I was looking for kind of thing. Right. And so that, I think that's what I was trying to say of like, yes. You know, there's a lot of people who are like, they'll take, I'm trying to think of like a Kingdom Hearts example. They'll still take like Kingdom Hearts. I'll say this because I love Recoded. I'll defend Recoded to death. It's probably one of my least favorite Kingdom Hearts games, but I still love it and I will defend it. People will say this. People will do this. They'll take a great story-driven Kingdom Hearts game, like maybe let's say Birth by Sleep. Birth by Sleep is a great story. And it's so deep and it's so good. And whenever they go play something like Recoded, which I'm pretty sure was the next Kingdom Hearts game actually after Birth by Sleep. And whenever the story sucks, but the gameplay is super fun, because it wasn't super deep and super thought out and it wasn't super relevant, that it's automatically a bad game. But it's like Kingdom Hearts Recoded deals with one of the deepest themes in the series, and that's hurt. Yeah. It's hurt. And people don't like, I think that's what makes the game good. You know, it doesn't have to be super deep to be good. I think Recoded actually has the best use of the command deck and the smoothest use of the command deck out of Birth by Sleep and Dream Drop Distance. I think the gameplay is super fun. You know?
Amazing.
But yeah, like, I think people will just like, again, take something that like, you know, it's like, if it's not the same, if this next game isn't as deep as the previous one, then it's bad, you know? And I disagree with that because I think there's more to just a game or a show or an anime or whatever than just one aspect of whatever you're playing or watching.
I think so, yeah. 100%.
Whew.
We got there. We got there in the end.
We did.
Yeah.
Barely. Amazing. I don't even know if everything that I said made sense.
It didn't make sense.
But I was just speaking from what I was feeling.
No, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
From the heart. From the Kingdom Heart.
From the Kingdom Hearts. From our Kingdom Hearts, yes.
Yes. All right. Is there anything you'd like to plug just now?
Oh man.
Or wrap this up.
I mean, I guess. I mean, hey, I'm Andy Bru.
Yes.
I do I've got a YouTube channel. It's literally just Andy Bru, BRU, on YouTube. I do a lot of live playthroughs. I do I make other content as well. I kind of just do whatever I want on my channel. It's mostly first playthroughs of games, and it's I do that live. So you can find me on YouTube, Andy Bru. I also stream on Twitch. I'm Andy Bru 48 on Twitch. I'm Andy_Bru_ on Twitter. And that's kind of me, pretty much. I love Kingdom Hearts. I love talking about Kingdom Hearts, even if what I'm saying half the time might not make sense to like other people.
That's great.
I love talking about it. So that's me.
Absolutely. Everybody go follow Andy Bru. Like, he's one of the nicest people in the Kingdom Hearts community. I'll say that.
It's funny because I feel like whenever I was kind of going off earlier, definitely didn't seem like it. I had a lot to say, right? But it's all out of love, I promise. I promise it's all out of love. Yeah, I was going to say,
it's all good stuff. Yeah. I appreciate it so much.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. This is great.
Of course.
Yeah, looking forward to anything else in the future, any of your other podcasts in the future. I'm going to have to check more of these out, these fandom ones. This sounds like a lot of fun.
It is a fun show. Yeah. I will not lie. Like, so that was Andy Bru. I really enjoyed talking to him about one of my favorite series and hearing his overall positive outlook on the fandom and how we could all get along better if we weren't so defensive about stuff. My name is Karish. You can follow Journey Into Fandom on Twitter at J_Into_Fandom, and I am at Carison Ford on Twitter. That's CARYSONFORD. Please also join the official Discord for all my podcasts, Kingdom Minds Retrospective and Journey Into Fandom. Thank you for listening. Bye.